of burying or cremating a pet, how about freeze-drying them? It's an unusual way to preserve a pet, and the largest freeze-dry operation in the country is not far from KC in the small town of Slater, Missouri.
But here she is. So, and here's the picture that I used to have them pose her.
Tim Drotz is not shy showing off his beloved Chihuahua of 15 years named Maggie Moo.
It's not a trophy or an object. It's just this dog that taught me so much, and I don't know, I kind of like to think that she loved me in some way. I had something that loved me in my life. And
when Maggie Moo died, Tim had her freeze-dried, curled up inside her doggy bed with her tongue sticking out. And that is Maggie Moo's real tongue.
The decision to do it was obviously one, because I love her. She's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Preserving a pet through freeze-drying is increasingly becoming an option, and Tim did not have to go too far from Kansas City to get this process done. In the small town of Slater, Missouri, sits one of the largest freeze-dry operations in the country.
Probably about, let me see, there's 4 cats on top, and there's about 4 or 5 on the bottom.
Anthony Eddy's wildlife studio has about a dozen freeze-dryers that slowly remove water from a dead animal over the course of several months. During that time, all moisture is vacuumed out of the pet so the animal can never decay. It's not taxidermy. No molds are used. It's the real thing.
Many of our customers are repeat customers. We've freeze-dried as high as 3 or 4 pets for one person.
And while in the freeze dryer, which can take 6 months or longer before an animal is returned, some pet owners send cards to their deceased pets. Here's a card sent to a dead dog during the holidays. Office manager Leslie Calvert takes them seriously.
So when they send the card or the letter, I do, and I know this sounds silly, but I do read the card or letter to the pet.
Reading cards to dead dogs and cats and working inside a lobby full of freeze-dried dogs and cats can seem like the Twilight Zone, but Tim Drotz is thankful for Anthony Eddy's services. After all, he couldn't bear to think about cremating or burying Maggie Moo.
Wish I could explain to you, it's just you get this little ball of fur that follows you around everywhere, and I just became attached to her.
Attached and never forgotten. Maggie Moo and Tim remain forever connected. And freeze-drying a pet is not cheap. It actually starts out at around $800, and that's for a small pet. The larger the pet, the more expensive it is. If you want to know more about freeze-drying, we did post a link on our website, kshb.com, and just look under pets.